Imagine a natural substance that makes workers 100 times more focused, incredibly loyal, and capable of doubling your garden harvest almost overnight. No, it is not a banned chemical or a magical fertilizer. What if I told you that some plants actually lace their nectar with caffeine to keep bees addicted and coming back for more? Today, we are going to show you how to harness that exact same irresistible pulling power in your own backyard. We are going to reveal how to attract an absolute army of bees and bumblebees to your garden, guaranteeing you the biggest, juiciest crops you have ever seen. But here is a controversial question to start us off. Do you think planting flowers near your vegetables is a waste of valuable growing space? Or is it the ultimate secret weapon? Drop your opinion in the comments right now, because the answer we are about to uncover might completely change the way you garden forever. Stick around, because you are about to learn the hidden psychology of bees. To truly understand why your garden might be underperforming, we have to look back at how nature originally designed things. For millions of years, plants and pollinators evolved together in a perfect, delicate dance. But over the last century, modern agriculture shifted heavily toward massive single-crop fields and pristine, manicured lawns. We essentially paved over the natural buffets that bees relied on. Because of this, wild bee populations have been struggling to find consistent food sources. When you look at a typical suburban backyard today, it is often just a sea of green grass, which is basically a desert for a hungry bumblebee. But this historical shift gives you a massive advantage. Because local bees are desperately searching for high-quality food, creating a small sanctuary in your yard makes your garden an instant, glowing beacon. By providing exactly what they need, you are not just saving the bees, you are practically bribing them to pollinate your vegetable crops with an intensity you have never witnessed before. Let us start by looking at the pure biological mechanics of why these insects are the ultimate garden workers, and why you cannot just rely on the breeze. There is a very common myth among beginner gardeners that the wind will naturally take care of all the pollination needs for a vegetable patch. While it is true that crops like corn and wheat are wind-pollinated, the heavy hitters of your summer garden, like tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, and peppers, desperately need physical agitation. Imagine a single zucchini plant. It has male flowers and female flowers. For a zucchini to actually form, the heavy, sticky pollen must be physically carried from the male flower to the female flower. The wind simply is not strong enough to move that sticky pollen. If a bee does not make that delivery, the female flower simply shrivels up and falls off the vine, leaving you with nothing. When you attract an army of bees, they visit hundreds of flowers in a single trip. They are essentially free farmhands, working from dawn until dusk, ensuring that every single blossom on your plants is properly fertilized and converted into actual, edible food. Now, let us talk about that unbelievable caffeine phenomenon and how it dictates bee behavior. Scientists have discovered that some plants, like coffee and citrus trees, actually produce low doses of natural caffeine right in their floral nectar. Why do they do this? Because it chemically alters the brain of the bee. The caffeine gives the bee a jolt of energy and creates an incredibly strong, long-lasting memory of that specific flower's scent and location. While we cannot easily grow coffee plants in a standard backyard, we can absolutely replicate this magnetic, addictive effect by planting what are known as high-value nectar producers. Think of it as opening a gourmet 5-star restaurant right next to your vegetable garden. By offering flowers that produce a massive volume of rich, sugary nectar, you create an unforgettable memory in the mind of the foraging bee. They will return to your yard day after day, bringing their hive mates with them, working with a frantic energy that genuinely looks like they have had a triple shot of espresso. So, what exactly should you plant to create this irresistible high-energy buffet? The absolute undisputed champion of the pollinator garden is a little blue flower called borage, also known as starflower. If you want a vivid illustration of how to hack the system, look no further than borage. Most garden flowers take hours or even a full day to replenish their nectar after a bee takes a sip. Borage is entirely different. This incredible plant refills its nectar cups every 2 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. Every 2 minutes. It is basically an endless fountain of high-energy food. When scout bees find a borage plant in your yard, they rush back to the hive and perform a waggle dance to tell everyone else exactly where this unlimited food source is located. If you plant a patch of borage right next to your tomato plants, the sheer volume of bee traffic in that area will skyrocket. The bees come for the borage, but while they are in the neighborhood, they will stop and aggressively pollinate every single tomato blossom nearby. But simply planting flowers is not enough. You have to understand how bees actually see the world. Here is where we can debunk a very persistent myth. Many people buy bright, deep red flowers thinking they are the most eye-catching colors in the garden. However, bees physically cannot see the color red. To a bee's eye, a red flower just looks like a dark, uninteresting shadow against the green leaves. Bees see the world in ultraviolet light. Therefore, the absolute best colors to attract them are bright blue, deep purple, violet, white, and yellow. Imagine looking at your garden through a pair of ultraviolet goggles. A bright purple flower like lavender or catmint practically glows like a neon sign in the dark. Many of these flowers even have hidden ultraviolet stripes on their petals that we cannot see, acting like landing lights on an airport runway, guiding the bee straight into the center of the flower. By focusing your plantings strictly on the blue, purple, and yellow spectrum, you are visually shouting at the bees that your garden is fully stocked and open for business. Here is a crucial element that almost every single gardener completely forgets about: water. Providing food is great, but foraging for pollen is incredibly exhausting, thirsty work. Bees desperately need fresh water, not just to drink, but to take back to the hive to cool it down on hot summer days. However, bees are terrible swimmers. If they try to drink from a deep bird bath or a swimming pool, they will easily drown. To make your yard a true sanctuary, you need to build a dedicated bee bath. It is incredibly simple to create. Just take a shallow dish, like the saucer from underneath a terracotta pot. Fill it to the brim with clean gravel, glass marbles, or small river stones. Then, add fresh water just until it reaches the halfway point of the stones. This brilliant little setup provides hundreds of safe, dry landing islands for the bees. They can stand comfortably on the warm stones, lean down, and safely drink their fill. Place this shallow dish right in the middle of your vegetable patch, and you will be amazed at how many bees stop by for a drink and stay to pollinate. We also need to talk about housing, because attracting bees is much easier when they actually live on your property. When we say the word bee, most people immediately picture a massive hive of aggressive honeybees aggressively guarding their queen. Let us completely shatter that myth. The vast majority of the best pollinators in your garden are native, solitary bees, like mason bees and leafcutter bees. These tiny heroes do not live in hives, they do not make honey, and because they have nothing to aggressively defend, they almost never sting. They simply want a quiet place to lay their eggs. You can easily encourage them to move in by providing a bug hotel or a simple block of untreated wood with holes drilled into it. Even better, you can embrace a slightly messy garden philosophy. By leaving small piles of hollow stems, fallen twigs, or undisturbed patches of bare soil in the corners of your yard, you provide the perfect natural nesting habitats. When these gentle, solitary bees hatch right next to your vegetables, your crop yields will absolutely explode. Another major secret to keeping these caffeinated workers in your garden all season long is mastering the art of succession planting. A very common mistake is planting a garden that completely bursts into gorgeous color in the middle of June, but offers absolutely nothing to eat in early spring or late fall. Imagine waking up starving from a long winter nap only to find the grocery store is completely empty. That is exactly what happens to early emerging bumblebee queens in the spring. To lock them into your yard, you must provide a continuous, unbroken chain of blooming flowers. Start the season strong by planting early bloomers like crocuses, snowdrops, and native willows. As spring turns to summer, let your herbs like oregano, thyme, and chives burst into bloom. And most importantly, do not let them starve in the fall. Plant late-blooming varieties like asters, goldenrod, and sunflowers. By ensuring there is never a single week in your garden without a blooming flower, you build absolute loyalty. The bees will make your yard their permanent home base. Now, we have to address the absolute fastest way to ruin all of your hard work, and that is the use of chemical pesticides. It is tempting to grab a chemical spray the moment you see an aphid on your roses, but it is a massive mistake. Let us debunk the myth that a little bit of bug spray will not hurt the good bugs. Broad-spectrum insecticides, especially those containing neonicotinoids, do not just kill pests, they completely destroy the nervous system of bees. Even if it does not kill them instantly, a tiny trace amount of these chemicals completely ruins their navigation systems. A poisoned bee will literally forget how to find its way back to the hive and will die of exhaustion. Instead of chemical warfare, you must switch to organic tactics. If you have an aphid problem, try spraying them off with a strong blast of water from the hose, or purchase a bag of live ladybugs to do the hunting for you. By committing to a strict 100% organic garden, you create a safe zone where pollinators can thrive without the risk of being poisoned. Let us talk about the strategic layout of your yard, specifically the magic of companion planting. Many people make the mistake of putting all their beautiful flowers in a formal bed in the front yard while hiding their vegetables in a separate, boring square plot in the backyard. The bees might visit the front yard, but they will never find your cucumbers. You have to mix them up. You must intentionally interplant heavy nectar flowers directly into the soil alongside your vegetables. A perfect illustration of this is planting bright yellow marigolds right at the base of your tomato plants. Not only do the marigolds attract pollinators directly to the tomato blossoms, but their strong scent actually confuses destructive pests like hornworms, hiding the smell of the tomatoes. Try planting sweet alyssum as a living mulch under your pepper plants. Or let some of your radishes and carrots go to seed so their delicate white flowers can attract tiny beneficial wasps. When you blend flowers and food together, your garden becomes an incredibly efficient, self-sustaining ecosystem. Finally, we have to highlight the absolute rock stars of the vegetable garden, the heavy-duty bumblebees. While honeybees are wonderful, they are actually physically incapable of pollinating certain crops efficiently. Tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers hold on to their pollen very tightly inside the flower. A honeybee will just walk around on it, getting nothing. But a big, fuzzy bumblebee has a secret superpower called buzz pollination. When a bumblebee lands on a tomato flower, she physically detaches her flight muscles from her wings. She then flexes those muscles incredibly fast, vibrating her entire body at the exact frequency of a musical middle C note. This intense, specific vibration acts like a sonic key, shaking the flower so violently that the pollen explodes out in a perfect cloud, covering the bee and perfectly pollinating the plant. This is why attracting bumblebees is non-negotiable for a massive harvest. Plant deep, tubular flowers like snapdragons and foxgloves, which are custom designed for the strength and size of the bumblebee, and watch your tomato yields multiply. And there you have it, the ultimate blueprint for turning your backyard into a buzzing, high-yield paradise. We have learned that treating your garden like a continuous, vibrant buffet for bees is truly 100 times more powerful than any artificial fertilizer. By understanding the magic of nectar memory, prioritizing blue and purple flowers, building safe water stations, and abandoning harsh chemicals, you are essentially hiring nature's most dedicated workforce. The turnaround can be absolutely staggering. A garden that once struggled to produce a handful of vegetables can quickly transform into a lush jungle, dripping with hundreds of pounds of perfectly pollinated produce. It is a win for the environment, a win for the bees, and a massive win for your dinner table. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to work with nature instead of against it. If you want to keep transforming your outdoor space, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with a fellow gardener. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the very first bee-friendly flower you are going to plant in your garden this weekend? Let us start a massive discussion down in the comments section below.